I've been playing Destiny since right before the Dark Below released, up until Renegades. Um, this game has been how I learned to socialize. It's taught me a great deal about most of the topics I enjoy today, such as gaming, obviously, but more precisely, build crafting, analyzing metas, and also a lot about writing when it comes to the lore. And it piqued my interest in philosophy because of how much the universe of Destiny revolves around those big existential questions. These traits, I'd say, define the person I am today by quite a bit. I am sad that, as far as we know, this journey has come to an end. And angry because all along the way, I knew what was going on. I'm not alone in this. A lot of us knew what the game needed to be better. Most of us felt like in no way, shape, or form did Destiny reach its potential. Now, by the sound of my microphone and the rest of the content on my YouTube channel, I imagine that you can tell I am not a actual content creator. I'm just someone that's very passionate about some things, and sometimes I feel the need to share what I've discovered, created, or just my opinions with the rest of the world, which is the purpose of this channel. And therefore, this is something I felt the need to do. I, as I said before, am extremely angry at the higher-ups that were working at Bungie, especially during the time Lightfall released, but along the years in general as well. They definitely did not care about the game. And I am feeling a lot of empathy for every developers that worked on the game along the years. You guys were definitely passionate. You poured your art and soul into this game and made a compelling, fun, interesting, creative, and beautiful universe that has made me the person I am today to a major degree. We can observe this tendency to try and turn Destiny against its player base since I'd say probably the release of Destiny 2. Destiny 2 was nothing like what it should have been on release. It had thrown away almost everything that made what the first game was and what people liked about it. And it took a miracle that took the shape of Forsaken to save it. Afterwards, we've seen a pattern of good, then bad, then good, then bad, repeating itself over and over and over until up to the final shape. Every single time Bungie made a right move, it felt like the people that made the decisions got some kind of confidence and tried to extract as much money out of the game as possible. Why I'm saying that is fairly simple. Every single time a good DLC came out, there was some kind of addition in the following one that was trying to pervert the game in a sense and try and grab as much money out of its players' pockets. Back in Destiny 1, at the launch, the good old days, there was a lot of flaws with the game. But then the first raid came out, Bolt of Glass, and people saw what Destiny was all about and what it had to offer. Now, on release, it had so many issues, but the game and its developers were still trying to make something happen. These kinds of issues in player base dropping and not being so sure that the game will survive are completely different when you look at the issues we've had in the past 2 years, I'd say. Back in Destiny 1, there was no microtransaction. The way you'd get your exotics was, well, you'd level up through whites and greens and blues and purples, and then maybe you'd finally manage to get a team to get into a raid and open the well-coveted exotic chest that would give you your first exotic. For me, it was No Land Beyond that I dropped twice, so it wasn't so great, but you still had this feeling of achievement when you got something. That was noticed by some people, I imagine, and they thought that the color yellow was what made us so excited about playing this game. So they put yellow in everything, especially when it was tied to some kind of microtransaction. For example, pre-ordering a DLC, buying a season pass, are now the only ways to get an exotic in Destiny. Yes, there are secret, we'll say, missions and quests that give you exotic weapons, but they are also announced in advance, and you are told that you need to purchase a specific piece of content for you to have access to them. The magic of the looter shooter that was Destiny was turned into this money-making machine that was trying to entice you to spend as much as possible, as fast as possible, as spontaneously as possible, without thinking a single second, so that they get the money and you get your well coveted yellow item in your inventory. Every single decision was made in that fashion. If you ask a lot of the Destiny player base, if not almost everybody that's played the game, they'll tell you that the gameplay is impeccable. The universe is fascinating. There are so many good things to Destiny. The sense of scale that you get when you get in some of those raid encounters is just... there's nothing like it out there. Unfortunately, instead of trying to make it so that the game survives and thrives and as a reason for everybody to play, they turned the game into this seasonal format, which episodes were as well, where they'd put content into the game, then remove it right after. Now, first of all, that's pretty much theft, and we've all heard and talked about the removal of the Red War campaign, but I want you guys to focus on how much story development we've had along the years in a seasonal format, and how none of it is accessible anymore, and probably won't be. I would be very surprised if the June update brings back a way to see those story plot points in game. The reason that happened, that some people might not understand, is once again money. By adding to a strike playlist, or making strike exclusive weapons, or bringing back SRL, or the Prison of Veteran, or all that old content that we loved so very much, or just in general core playlist content such as PvP maps, a well-balanced proper Gambit playlist. You're not making money. You are in fact avoiding the game's death, but you're not directly, spontaneously making money. Now, as we all know, now at least, the people that made those decisions did not give a single shit about the game dying. In fact, they were simply trying to scam Sony out of their money by making them believe that this seasonal model was sustainable and extremely profitable because people are buying content every 3 months. And in fact, that was not gonna last. The fact that you kept removing the content afterwards obviously got a lot of people pissed. Not only that, but it's made it so that even though the game is more than 8 years old now, it still somehow feels so very empty. A lot of people, myself included, want to play Destiny 2. I find it extremely fun, but whenever I boot up the game, I see that no one is online, and I feel like there's nothing to do. I've recently returned to Destiny 1, and to my surprise, it wasn't this way. I really took time to try and understand what made Destiny 1 so special. You can probably look at a lot of bigger content creators' analysis of Destiny 1, especially Astrocross returning to it recently, pretty much observing the same stuff that I've observed myself. This core of leveling up, trying to get stronger while not having anything guaranteed to you, makes it so that you kind of enjoy every bit of loot that you drop, and you feel the need to do every activities that are available to you to reach that point. This cycle makes a looter shooter what it's supposed to be. By making an update that makes about 95% of the game completely obsolete, and changing the very charming UI, although not very practical, UI that Destiny has, you kind of fucking ruined it. The portal looks like shit. And it makes it so that you have no reason to do anything that you want to do in the game. The level up process was so bad on release, and it's still bad to this day, because you don't feel like you're progressing. You feel like you're chasing a faraway number that doesn't mean anything anymore. They've been told about most of these things for years now. Almost a decade, actually. And in fact, I believe that they've learned their lessons. They've learned their lessons for a while now. they were just not allowed to act accordingly. I believe that we will see that in the June update. I believe that the June update will probably by far be the best free update we've ever gotten for this game. Not even probably, I'm sure that it's going to be the best free update we've gotten for Destiny 2 by a large margin. Because of the fact that they are trying to make the game something that you can go back to and play again and again and again, without the idea of profit behind it. A few of the changes sound simply incredible. Now, something that is often neglected in video games, for some goddamn reason, is cosmetics. Cosmetics are endgame in pretty much every game ever. The way your character looks is so important to almost every player that it needs to be part of the core gameplay experience in a satisfying fashion for a game to survive. I truly believe that. The fact that now, with this update, we'll be able to customize our character's exotic armor however we want, and Bride Dust will be not only more available, but the Bride Dust shop will be resetting daily instead of weekly, makes the whole aspect of starting a new character on a new account, going through the game, getting your exotics, your build going, your aspects, your weapons, and then making them look the way you want much easier. This is something crucial that should have been implemented a long time ago. Now, obviously, it makes Eververse ever so more obsolete, which would be a good thing. It is not, because Eververse isn't as much of a scam that it won't make money anymore. In fact, if you invest into a game being fun and good to play, people will play it. You do not need to try and make everything about getting as much money in the instant as possible. That, again, is if you care about the sustainability of the game and not just scamming another company and getting out with a golden parachute. Other changes coming to the June update are related to making all the old content not obsolete anymore. Again, it's kind of pathetic that they have to make such a big move in that direction, because the content should never have been obsolete anymore. I still feel like it's not good enough. I feel like they should bring back, I know it's not feasible, but bring back all the content every season has ever had. And, obviously, the Red War, Curse of Osiris, Warmind, and Forsaken campaign. These are pieces of content that we have paid for. Not having access to them is theft. However, this is not in the hands of the devs anymore. The people that would make this decision are long gone, and they do not care a single bit, because they have their money and they are chilling on their yacht, and that's all that matters to them. I have to say that I am also quite excited to see what a Destiny that is not looking to renew itself anymore will look like. No more seasonal artifact sounds very interesting to me. The fact that I can build something and not have to worry about it going away in 3 or 5 or 9 months now is quite nice. I am also eager to see how the economy behind the materials that you need for upgrades will be now that we do not have a season pass anymore. That is pretty much the only easy way to get those materials. I know that the end of this fear of missing out that was keeping many players away from the game will probably bring back quite a few of them, and they'll at least, hopefully, leave with a good impression of what Destiny has been along the years. The main thing that will make this happen is how much they invest into those core playlists. I hope the raids will have a hard mode that is adding some kind of mechanic. I hope that the core playlists are properly innovated upon. May that be through giving us fucking PvP maps, or this Gambit play as they're talking about. I hope will be somewhat balanced with a good way of getting loot out of it. I hope that there will be some kind of chase. May that be some kind of new aspect or fragments or anything to give me a reason to grind and do those activities and try and hit the peak of what the game has to offer, such as the most recent Art Mode raid. Destiny 1 did that amazingly by adding the exotic adept raid weapons, which were not that great, but with how strong surges were in Destiny 1, they were quite nice to have. It is sad for me to see Destiny die in such a preventable manner after all of these years of fighting to try and make the people in charge understand that they were running straight towards the ledge. This, unfortunately, only benefits a very few people, and it fucks all the rest of us over. Destiny is one of a kind. There is nothing like it out there. May that be on the lore, or the story, or the gameplay. Pretty much everybody that's played it for a certain extent will tell you the same thing. And I hope that many of you will come back and give it a shot, try it out, try to enjoy as much as possible out of this universe as you can, and leave with a good perspective and opinion of what Destiny was all about. Just try and have fun, and hopefully people learn from what happened here and don't make the same mistake again. We'll see. Let's try and have hope for the future.